God removed him because he saw what you couldn't. And I know that sentence might make your chest tighten a little bit when you first hear it. Because when you loved him, you didn't see danger. You saw potential. You saw history. You saw memories. You saw the way he looked at you when things were good. You saw the man he could be, not always the man he was. You saw the future you had already started building in your mind. You saw the house, the trips, the holidays, the quiet nights, the inside jokes, the way you thought your life would unfold with him in it. You saw love. So when God removed him, it didn't feel like protection. It felt like punishment. It felt like loss. It felt like your world was being rearranged without your permission. It felt like a door slammed shut while you were still standing in the doorway holding flowers that had nowhere to go. Because sometimes God doesn't remove people gently. Sometimes he removes them with a storm. Sometimes he removes them with a betrayal. Sometimes he removes them with a truth you didn't want to find out. Sometimes he removes them by letting you see a side of them you prayed you would never have to see. And you sit there, in the aftermath, confused and heartbroken, asking questions into the ceiling at night like, why would you let me love someone like that? Why would you let me get so attached? Why would you let me build a whole life in my head just to take it away? Why didn't you show me sooner? But the truth is, he probably did show you sooner, just not in the way you wanted to see it. Because when we love someone, we don't see with our eyes. We see with our hope. We see with our patience. We see with our loyalty. We see with our ability to forgive and understand and give chances and see the good in people even when the good is hiding behind a lot of bad. You called it love. God sometimes called it warning. But you didn't ignore the signs because you were stupid. You ignored the signs because you were committed. Because you believed in fixing things. Because you believed that if you just loved someone the right way, they would love you the right way back. Because you believed that if you stayed, things would change. Because you believed in loyalty. Because you believed in fighting for the relationship. Because you believed in him. And there is nothing weak about a woman who believes in love. But there is something dangerous about loving someone who is comfortable breaking you. So sometimes God will step in and do what you don't have the strength to do yet. He will remove the person you keep giving chances to. He will close the door you keep reopening. He will expose the lie you keep trying to rewrite into the truth. He will let the mask fall off. He will let the truth hurt you once, so it doesn't destroy you slowly for the next 20 years. Because what feels like one big heartbreak is sometimes God saving you from a lifetime of small heartbreaks. And that's the part nobody tells you when you're crying on your bathroom floor, when you can't eat, when you can't sleep, when everything reminds you of him, when you keep checking your phone, when you keep replaying the good memories like a movie, when you keep wondering if he's thinking about you too, when you keep asking yourself, how did we go from everything to nothing? Nobody tells you that sometimes nothing is actually peace in disguise. Because when the chaos leaves, it feels empty at first. When the person who took up all your emotional space is gone, the silence feels loud. When you're not arguing, not crying, not overthinking, not trying to fix something every week, not walking on eggshells, not wondering who they're texting, not wondering if you're enough. The quiet feels unfamiliar. But unfamiliar doesn't mean bad. Unfamiliar sometimes means you're finally safe. See, God didn't just remove a person. He removed confusion. He removed inconsistency. He removed anxiety. He removed the version of you that kept accepting less than you deserved. He removed the late-night tears you cried next to someone who was supposed to love you. He removed the constant feeling that you had to compete, prove yourself, perform, and hold everything together. And when enough time passes, when the fog clears, when your heart stops racing every time you hear his name, when you finally have a day where you don't think about him at all, you will sit somewhere quietly, maybe in your car, maybe in your kitchen, maybe in your bed, and you will have a moment of realization. And in that moment, you won't be angry anymore. You won't even be sad anymore. You'll just be clear. Clear enough to say, if that would have continued, it would have destroyed me. Clear enough to say, I was trying to save a relationship that was killing me. Clear enough to say, I loved him, but I was losing myself. Clear enough to say, God didn't take him from me. God saved me from him. And that's a hard sentence to say when you're still in love. That's a hard sentence to say when you still remember the good parts. That's a hard sentence to say when you know he wasn't all bad. Because most women don't fall in love with all bad men. They fall in love with men who are good sometimes. Men who can be kind sometimes. Men who can be loving sometimes. Men who can be everything you ever wanted. Sometimes. But sometimes is a dangerous place to build a life. You can't build a peaceful life on temporary love. You can't build a future on inconsistent behavior. You can't build security on apologies that come after the damage is already done. You can't build a healthy heart in a place that keeps breaking it. So God will remove what you keep trying to make permanent, but was only meant to be temporary. And one day, you will stop seeing the removal as rejection. You will start seeing it as redirection. You will start seeing it as protection. You will start seeing it as correction. You will start seeing it as love. Because sometimes the most loving thing God can do is not give you what you want. Sometimes the most loving thing God can do is take away the person you keep choosing over your own peace. And I know that's hard to hear because you didn't just lose a person. You lost a routine. You lost a best friend. You lost a future you had already imagined. You lost the person you told everything to. You lost the person whose name was in your phone, whose side of the bed was filled, whose toothbrush was next to yours, whose voice you could recognize in a crowded room. You didn't just lose a relationship. You lost a version of your life. So you have every right to grieve. You have every right to cry. You have every right to be angry for a while. You have every right to sit in the question of why, but don't sit there forever. Because if you stay in the "why did this happen to me?" question too long, you'll miss the better question, which is, what is this trying to save me from? What is this trying to teach me? Who am I becoming because this ended? What did this relationship show me about what I will and will not accept again? What parts of myself did I abandon just to keep someone else? Because heartbreak has a way of introducing you to yourself. It introduces you to your strength. It introduces you to your boundaries. It introduces you to your intuition. It introduces you to the version of you that can survive something you once thought you never could. And slowly, without you even noticing, you start changing. You start sleeping better. You start laughing again. You start enjoying little things again. You start realizing you don't have to explain yourself to anyone. You start realizing peace is better than drama. You start realizing being alone is not the same thing as being lonely. You start realizing you would rather be by yourself than be with someone who makes you feel by yourself. And that is when you start understanding why God removed him. Not because you weren't good enough. Not because you weren't pretty enough. Not because you weren't loving enough. Not because you weren't worth staying for. God removed him because he was not aligned with where your life is going. God removed him because he was not capable of loving you the way you needed to be loved. God removed him because staying would have cost you your self-respect. God removed him because you kept giving chances to someone who kept giving excuses. God removed him because your heart was too loyal to walk away on its own. God removed him because you were going to stay too long. God removed him because you couldn't see clearly while you were inside of it. But you can see clearly now. And clarity is a gift, even when it arrives through pain. So if you are in a season right now where you feel like something was taken from you, I want you to consider the possibility that it was not taken. It was removed. Removed like something that didn't belong in your life long term. Removed like something that was blocking your growth. Removed like something that was distracting you from your purpose. Removed like something that felt like love but also felt like anxiety. Removed like something you prayed about but didn't recognize when the answer came, because the answer didn't come the way you wanted it to. Because not all answered prayers look like blessings at first. Some answered prayers look like endings. Some answered prayers look like silence. Some answered prayers look like distance. Some answered prayers look like a door closing and you standing there confused. But time has a way of revealing what emotions try to hide. And one day you will look back at this chapter of your life, and instead of saying, "I can't believe I lost him," you will say, "I can't believe I almost lost myself trying to keep him." And that will be the day you fully understand that God removed him because he saw what you couldn't see at the time. The sleepless nights, the disrespect, the almost love, the half-commitment, the emotional roller coaster, the way you were shrinking, the way you were slowly becoming a woman who accepted things you once said you would never accept. God saw the version of you 5 years from now if you stayed. God saw the tears you hadn't cried yet. God saw the betrayal you hadn't discovered yet. God saw the loneliness you would have felt sitting right next to him. God saw what it was going to cost you to keep loving someone who was not loving you correctly. So, he removed him. Not to hurt you, but to save you. Not to punish you, but to protect you. Not to leave you empty, but to make room for a life that doesn't hurt to live. And one day, when you meet the love that is peaceful, consistent, honest, and safe, you are going to thank God for the relationship that didn't work. You are going to thank God for the door that closed. You are going to thank God for the nights you cried, because those nights led you back to yourself. You are going to thank God that you didn't get what you thought you wanted, because you will finally have what you actually needed. And maybe more importantly, you will have yourself, your peace, your standards, your boundaries, your voice, your intuition, your self-respect, your calm, your happiness. And no relationship, no matter how romantic, is worth losing those things. So if you are healing right now, if you are in that space where you are slowly putting yourself back together, if you are learning how to be alone without feeling abandoned, if you are learning how to choose yourself without feeling guilty, if you are learning how to sit in peace without feeling bored, I want you to remember this one sentence and carry it with you until it starts to make sense. God removed him because he saw what you couldn't. And one day, you will see it too. If this message spoke to you, this channel is for you. This is a place for healing, for peace, for growth, and for becoming the woman you were always meant to be. Subscribe to this channel if you are choosing yourself. Like this video if you are healing. And comment below. I choose peace, so I can pray for you and with you on your journey. You are not alone, and you are going to be okay. Thanks for watching.